Have you ever wondered, what if the moment you decided to quit was the same moment? Your dream was about to come true? Sometimes success isn't far. It's just hidden behind one last test. This is the story of Ethan, a young man who almost gave up, one step before his life changed forever. Ethan was a 22-year-old boy from a quiet little town where dreams rarely came true. But Ethan was different. He didn't just dream, he believed. From childhood, he found peace in music. When other kids were playing outside, he'd sit by his window, strumming his old, scratched guitar. The world around him disappeared when he played. It was just him, the strings, and his heartbeat. He often told his mom, "One day, Mom, people will sing my songs." She smiled, though deep down she worried about his future. Still, Ethan held on to one thing: faith. One morning, he packed his bag, kissed his mother goodbye, and boarded a bus to the city, chasing a dream bigger than himself. The city was loud, fast, and full of dreamers like him. Every cafe, every studio, every small corner had someone trying to make it big. At first, Ethan was full of hope. He performed at open mics, recorded songs on his cheap phone, and sent demo tapes everywhere. But no one called. He stood in long lines outside music studios, only to hear the same words. "Sorry, not what we're looking for. Maybe next time." Next time, that phrase became a cruel joke. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months, and each rejection chipped away at his confidence. Ethan's small apartment was barely livable. Peeling paint, leaky ceiling, and a single dim bulb that flickered like his hope. To survive, he took a part-time job at a restaurant. He'd spend mornings serving food, evenings washing dishes, and nights writing songs he wasn't sure anyone would ever hear. He'd often stare at his reflection in the greasy kitchen window and whisper, "What if I'm wasting my life?" Yet somehow, he still picked up his guitar before sleeping, even when his hands ached, because deep inside, he couldn't let go of the boy who once dreamed big. One night, after another failed audition, Ethan walked home through the rain. His shoes were soaked, his spirit empty. He sat on a park bench under a flickering streetlight, the same place where he used to play songs when he first came to the city. He looked at his guitar case beside him and said softly, "Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm not meant for this." A drop of rain rolled down his cheek. Or maybe it was a tear. He decided that tomorrow would be his last day as a musician. After that, he'd sell his guitar, go home, and find a normal job. That night, as he packed his things, he whispered to himself, "At least I tried." He didn't know that the universe was listening. Before leaving, Ethan wanted to perform once more. Not for fame, not for money, but for closure. He went to a small cafe he often performed at. It was half empty, filled with the quiet hum of conversations and coffee cups clinking. When he took the stage, no one noticed. He started playing softly, singing a song he had written for himself, a song about holding on when the world gives up on you. At first, no one listened, but something in his voice changed. It was raw, broken, yet beautiful. He sang not with his mouth, but with his soul. Slowly, the room grew silent. Every heart in that cafe began to feel what he felt. When he finished, there was silence. And then, applause. Not the polite kind. The real kind. The kind that tells you, "You touched us." Among the crowd, a woman in her 30s wiped a tear and walked up to him. She said, "I'm from a small music label. I want to record that song." Ethan blinked. "Are you serious?" She smiled. "I've never been more serious." That one performance, the one he thought would be his last, became the beginning of everything he ever wanted. Months later, Ethan stood in a real studio, recording the same song that once healed his broken spirit. When the song released, it exploded across social media. People said, "This voice feels real." And it was real because it came from pain. Radio stations played it. Music platforms featured it. And soon, the boy who almost quit was now inspiring millions not to give up. During an interview, a reporter asked, "Ethan, what would you say to someone who's about to give up?" He smiled and replied, "I was one night away from quitting, and one night away from everything I ever dreamed of. So don't give up tonight. Your tomorrow might be the one that changes everything. Sometimes the darkest nights come just before your sunrise. And sometimes giving up one day early can cost you a lifetime of success. So when you feel tired, when you feel unseen, when you feel like it's over, don't stop, because your story is still being written. Success doesn't always belong to the fastest or the smartest. It belongs to those who refuse to give up. Never underestimate the power of one more try.